exciting time to be going on a mission. This is awesome stuff because we're in a new age of what's going on. When I went, the blacks just received the priesthood. And so I received a new way of life too as I went out in the mission field. So if you do the Preach My Gospel class that we'll take you through, it's a free class, but it's for parents and missionaries, which stakes don't do, okay? And in there we're going to teach you some tricks on email, let you know what a real email is, okay? We're also going to walk you through how never to write your mom in the mission field the wrong way, okay? We're going to show you how to mark your scriptures. Do you know how to mark your scriptures the way the prophets and apostles want you to?
Probably not.
Okay. Every time you hand somebody a Book of Mormon, what is the prophet expecting you to do? Teach them how to mark it, right? So we're actually going to take you through real Preach My Gospel training is what we're going to take you through.
And
okay.
that's the thing you do on
It's on a Saturday. Yeah, so it's this the coming Saturday that we'll be doing it, 8:30 to 10:30. Okay, I am going to do a Zoom class with it too. Zoom will only let me do 40 minutes at a time, so you'd have to re-log in to do it. But it is fun and interactive, so you'll see it. You'll have a lot of fun. We'll teach you how to journal. Have you ever learned how to journal?
No.
All right. Mom kind of likes to have you have a journal. We're going to show you how to journal the way the prophets and apostles have taught you how to journal. So again, President Hinckley taught me some tricks on that. I'm going to pass those tricks on to you firsthand. So you're going to find they're really, really neat, okay? So all the stuff I'm showing you is on the website, okay? So you can go under handouts and get any of these items, all right? So as we go through this, these are going to be your handouts, but I'm a drawer, so I'm going to draw on all of them for you, okay? So first up, you received a call packet, all right? That call packet is the same for everybody in the world, okay? And the thing is not everybody has the different things that other people have. All right, so we're going to first go to the back side of your handout, and right here's a packing list. Okay, you see that? You see where it says sisters? Okay, I want you to ignore sisters for the next 18 months or 2 years. Okay? If it was a sister I was doing, you'd have to only ignore elders for 18 months. Okay? Now on here, there's some things you didn't really think about. Number one, they said one set of P-Day clothes, didn't they? That's interesting. 104 weeks you never wash your P-Day clothes because you're wearing them every P-Day. That doesn't make sense, does it? So let's go ahead and let's go 2 sets of P-Day clothes. So you can see I'm not trying to sell you items, I'm trying to get you prepared. So we're going to talk about budget here in just a second as we're going through this, but you need to understand this part of it. All right, now service clothes. What are service clothes versus P-Day clothes?
Just like white shirts.
No?
Well, they did say make sure he has a pair of pants that he can wear, I'm assuming denim, I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Something that is not church clothes, but work
Exactly.
appropriate.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I always tell everybody, take 2 sets of service clothes. One might be painting clothes. If you start painting for somebody, those are going to be paint clothes. And though it's not too appropriate to go shopping with paint all over your clothes now, is it? And then if you have some that you do construction in, you end up tearing them and stuff, they're still good to wear, but you wouldn't wear those shopping. So we want to take 2 sets of service clothes. See how that makes sense? So we're actually giving you a real packing list here. All right? Have you learned how to choose your garments yet? Okay, it's real easy to choose your garments. So are you endowed?
No.
Okay, so you'll get endowed once temple's open.
I have purchased them, but because the temples aren't open, we haven't.
Right, I didn't know if he got endowed beforehand. So that's what I was asking. Okay,
Not
so,
until he graduates high school, right?
oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
That is the rule. Okay, so the way you test which garments to wear is when you have your garments on, you go do a good hard workout in the morning. Then you go home and you do all your mom's housework. Then you go out and do all the yard work. Then you go on a date. And if they're still comfortable and you smell good, they're the right garment. Okay? So, some rules of thumb for garments, okay? Probably the very best garment for humidity is an all mesh garment. Okay? They are durable. They wick moisture away from you. You can hand wash them. You can do all those things. Stretch cotton is going to do what when it gets wet? Stretch. It's never going to not be stretchy. And if you use a garment that is any type of cotton in it, what happens with humidity with garments? Will they dry?
Yeah, no.
They'll never dry. You wash them, when are they going to dry? He's not going to have a dryer, so they don't dry. So there's dry lugs. In the ladies' line, there's Carinessa. There's all sorts of wicking type materials. That's what you're looking for, is that wicking type
The new
materials.
ones, what are those called, those brand new ones?
Well, there's some that are cotton with mesh underneath them.
Yeah.
The problem is that cotton's not going to dry. The mesh is. And when you hand wash it, you have the cotton part that I'm seeing a lot of separations from, getting reports back from missionaries. Because it's the cotton sewn to the nylon, and it just, you think about if you're hand washing,
Yeah.
that's not going to be real durable. So again, some insight, do as you want to do there. In his mission, they say 10 garments normally. If you're going to a mission that doesn't have garments available, I go 14 garments. Okay, that way you're well protected. All right, now, gym clothes. Be good to have 2 pairs of those, okay? So you probably own them. Again, as you're looking at your gym clothes, look for shorts that wick moisture away. Look for shirts that have the moisture wicking. Did you do any sports at all?
Mm-hmm.
So you have some of those shirts you felt that don't get, you know how a cotton t-shirt feels heavy as can be when it's wet? You get the idea. If your garments are like that, think how heavy they're going to be on you.
Mm-hmm.
They're never going to dry. So it starts making sense, doesn't it? Okay, next up, PJs. Yes, you need to have PJs. Nothing's worse than at 2 a.m. somebody's knocking on your door for a blessing, and if you're in garments, it's like, uh-oh, I got to run and find something. So PJs in your case would be what?
Just shorts.
Right, gym shorts and a lightweight shirt. Bingo. So take 2 sets of those. That becomes real easy, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, shoe-wise, they don't give you a lot of knowledge on shoes, okay? They kind of just skim over it a little bit. What do you really need? Well, we need to have 2 pairs of shoes that are going to work for proselyting. That makes sense, doesn't it? So they're not Sunday shoes. They're work shoes that are made for proselyting. So there's some different avenues we can go that way, and we'll show you some as we're going throughout this, okay? So we got to have our service shoes. We got to have what we call an athletic shoe or a tennis shoe, all right? But then they kind of stop there and they don't really give you too much understanding beyond that, okay? We need to have a service shoe, something that we could go paint in, couldn't we? Do you own a number of athletic shoes? So why don't we just take them, all right? Let's take something that if we paint in it and it gets painted, we don't care. Let's take some that could be service shoes that we could dig ditches with, build a house with, whatever we're going to do as a missionary to give service, okay? In today's world, there's going to be a lot of service going on because the world is really in a crisis mode right now. You're going to be called on more than ever to give service. So again, we're looking for all sorts of service shoes, okay? There's my 2-day work shoes, okay? Then shower shoes, okay? A shower shoe is something that you slide your foot into. It's not a flip-flop, okay? Those are really important at the MTCs and in your apartments that you have something to stand in as you're going in and out of the shower and even inside the shower. Nothing's worse to have a companion that's got plantar warts or athlete's foot. You should see your mom's face. She gets the idea really quick. So we want to have some good slides, okay? You'll be using those your entire mission, all right? So again, you're kind of seeing what we're doing. Now they may be going to let you wear sandals in your mission. If so, we want a closed-toed sandal, okay? And so again, I can show you.
Tell if they're talking about the sisters or not with that.
No, elders can too. So he can wear that kind of thing. So we'll look at some of those things afterwards, all right? Are you getting an idea of where we're headed to? Now, white shirts. You want to have something, again, that is going to wick moisture away. You don't want the heavy Oxford cotton stuff because you're going to a hot climate. If you're going to Russia, then the Oxford ones would be fine, wouldn't they? How many long sleeve versus short sleeve do you need?
Just 2.
2 long sleeve, right. And the main area you use that is when you go in for a baptism, you have long sleeve on. And when you go to do the giving of the Holy Ghost afterwards, the ordinance there, you're going to have long sleeve on again. That's dry, okay? So, makes sense. So the rest of your shirts are all going to be short sleeve shirts, okay? So, as we look at a budget for a mission, okay, we take a pie and we're going to split it into 4 parts. Okay? 25% will be clothing. Clothing is actually one of the least important areas of a missionary. Okay? Because the things we've gone over, you own most of those items. So there's not a lot you need to run out and get. You don't need a suit for your mission. So you're in good shape. So there's 118 missions that don't need suits. The other ones that have suits, what we need to have is, if you own a suit, I'd tell you to take it and then get a new suit when you come home. Wouldn't that make sense? All right, those are the kind of things we look at. Now, feet are 25% of your budget. Now what is included in feet? So many times we just think it's shoes. But shoes, then socks. So socks, did you know there's socks out there that are warranted for life against holes?
No.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Mom would love that. All right, so we're going to teach you sock technology here in a little bit that wicks away moisture. Socks are also designed for 1 season, which would be winter, 4 season, which are for places that have 4 seasons of the year, and then there's 3 season socks. You would fit under a 3-season sock, okay? And so usually when you go buy a sock, you go to a mass merchant or a department store and just buy socks, all right? You don't realize there's technology. Well, if you lived in a humid area, you'd start understanding technology really quick, because your socks are always sliding down or slipping on your foot, or your feet are always wet and the socks never dry. So that's an important part of your budget. And then insoles are a gigantic part. So again, I'll mold you some insoles, okay? You don't have to buy them. I want him to fill them. You tell me if there's a difference in an insole. These are custom molded. They come from the Olympic Committee, for the International Olympic Committee for cross-country runners. So it's really, really high technology that the FDA doesn't even have approved yet. It's that high of technology, okay? So now we have clothing as 25%. We have feet, 25%. Next up is all of your travel needs. So luggage, bedding, towels, laundry bag, toiletry bag, all those different types of things. And then the other 25% are bugs and water. So now you kind of know what we're going to be going through, okay? So here we go. Let's start with understanding how to pack. Now, you're going to be doing the MTC at home. We don't know around the world if this is going to become a standard that they're going to do more at home, or if they're going to have all the MTCs open. So you need to understand both ways. But when I teach you to pack, whether you're going to the MTC, or whether you're headed straight to the mission field, or whether you have to transfer really quick, or whether you have to go stay with other missionaries, we need to know how to live out of our carry-on, okay? So that's what I'm going to do now, is kind of train you that way. So you could live out of a carry-on for 8 weeks if you were to spend 8 weeks at the MTC. If you're doing English, it might be 3 weeks, might be 2 weeks, might be 10 days, we don't know. We're going to prep you any way there is, okay? So here's the way we do it. So first up, with luggage, we always like 2-wheel luggage, okay? 4-wheel luggage doesn't like to go over gravel, doesn't like to go over through mud, stuff like that. And so in the world, we see lots of 4-wheel bags, and people think, oh, these will move really good. But when we have to move 3 bags, how do we do that? Well, when you tilt it back, how do you hook them onto each other? They're not designed to do that. And so we're going to show you why we go 2-wheel. So when we're looking at 2-wheel, we want good reinforcement everywhere to help protect it. So this line I'm showing you here is warranted for 3 years, even against airline damage or missionary damage, okay? So on wheels, zippers, and handles. How light is it? Depends on how much you put in it.
Well, the bag itself.
So there's a balancing act between how light you're going to make a bag and how durable the bag is, all right? So this one's going to come in about 7 pounds, okay? Maybe 6.5 pounds. But you'll see the wheels are really well reinforced. Look how big those corners are. So that's going to add a few ounces to the bag, but how much more life are we going to have, okay? Zippers are always a problem on a suitcase. You see how big those are? Those are gigantic. That's not your normal size ones. Now, what would happen if we overstuff this and we split a zipper out? Mom, what does that do with zipper? Turn it. It's kind of broken, hasn't it? All right, so what we do also is, look how hard that was to fix that. So how much more valuable is that zipper? So how can we do a warranty like that? Because we use better technology. So when people say how heavy it is, there's a balancing act between weight and durability, and hopefully we found that balance is what we look for. So I actually designed this product. So you're gonna see a number of products that I actually build because it's not out in the marketplace. I've been doing this now, I'm almost 40 years of doing this. So I've been around a long time putting missionaries out, okay? So when we pack a missionary, whether it was for the MTC or whether it was to get on the airplane to go to the mission home, when you get to the mission home, the mission president has the prerogative to whether say, all right, you're gonna be here for 2 days or 3 days, or you're gonna be here for a week. He can determine how long he's gonna train you within the mission home. Depending on what's going on in the world and what country you're in is what the mission president's gonna do. So we don't wanna have to get into our big suitcases at the mission home or at the MTC if we don't have to. So we're gonna pack this as though we had to spend a week at the mission home where we're going on our mission. Or if we were at the MTC, we're gonna pack it for a week, all right? We pack it the exact same way. We're gonna figure out that we usually wash once a week. So, how many shirts do I need for a week? 7.
Yeah.
That was easy, wasn't it? So, we're gonna pack on hangers, okay? These are known as dryers in humid countries, okay? So we don't use metal ones. That makes sense when you think about it, right? All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pack. Again, long sleeve, short sleeve, we've already talked about that. I'm gonna pack some long sleeve to start with just to show how I do that. So when I lay these in here, I want it buttoned up so I can actually pull it and it doesn't wrinkle up. Now I fold it at the natural wrinkle point in the arms. Now, you know who taught me how to pack? There was this old guy in the scriptures. His name was Noah. Remember him? How did he teach us to pack? 2 by 2. He packed an ark 2 by 2. I found that to be the most efficient way to pack. Okay? So we're gonna go 2 by 2. So here we go. If we had a long sleeve and a short sleeve, we'd put the short sleeve in front of the long sleeve. Okay? Now as I lay that in there, again I'm gonna go right across the natural wrinkle point. Now if you like it to wrinkle, pack any way you want. Alright? I don't like ironing. Alright, so now I have 4 shirts in here. Now what would I need for a week's worth of pants? How many pairs of pants would I need? You need not as many, yeah, you don't need as many shirts. So can't you wear a pair of pants 2, 3, 4 days? Yeah. So let's go ahead, we're gonna take these without hangers because we're in this smaller bag. We're gonna lay them in like this. So let's go ahead, let's take 2 pairs of dress pants. That way if my companion's eating next to me and spills something on me, I have another pair to slip into. All right, so now, let's go ahead and add 2 more white shirts to here, and now let's do some travel math. Okay, you took that in high school, right? Remember that course, travel math? Definitely? Okay, good. So, here's what we do. 6 shirts and 2 pairs of pants equals 7 shirts and 3 pairs of pants. Mom, help us out.
It's a baker's dozen.
What are
Because you're re-wearing.
No. I'm wearing a white shirt and a pair of pants.
Oh, I got you.
So I need to remember that that's part of my 7, okay? And I have that extra pair of pants, all right? So whenever we're traveling, so as you hit the mission field, as you become a district leader, a zone leader, or an assistant to the president, your requirement is to go split with other companionships for 24-hour time periods. What are we gonna pack in to go split with those people? Right here. So you could be on the road, so district leaders split with their different companionships. Zone leaders split with the different district leaders, and assistants split with the different zone leaders. Does that make sense? And so this is the way you're gonna live. All right, so now let's go ahead, let's take some P-Day shirts. Now P-Day shirts could just be t-shirts. So depending on what you're planning on doing, so if you're going to the mission home, you know you're gonna be trained there, they may have some service that you need to have a t-shirt, but they may have some service that you're going to someplace that you need to look a little bit better. So do a collared shirt if you need to for one, have a t-shirt for another one. So again, look at your shirts at home and determine which ones you need to take because you own shirts. Use the ones you have. That way mom buys you new clothes when you get home. See that? Now let's go ahead and take a nice pair of P-Day pants with us in this case, okay? Again, as you look at denim style pants, we want something that's got lycra in it. Women are really familiar with lycra. They like the way it fits. A lot of guys haven't got totally into it yet. But as we do, we find that that stretchy material dries much quicker, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And so that's what you want to look at. Now, let's talk ties for a second, okay? In this case, I would take 7 ties. One I have on, I'd put 6 more in here, okay?
You don't want everywhere.
You can, but you don't need to. So again, it's his prerogative, okay? So I'm just giving him some options there because that's the one thing that makes you look different, is your tie, okay? Next up, how many of your dad's ties are you going to take?
However many he'll have.
Okay, so this is a little trick I found from a sister missionary, okay? What she did is she ended up using 200 ties from her dad. A sister. Okay, here's the way this worked. So she had her dad, so you got to be careful on ties. A lot of mission presidents don't want the flowered ties. They want striped ties, okay? But if you took something like this, she had her dad sign the back of the tie. Thanks for listening to the message. Take the challenge of Moroni 10, and he signed it. Then, as she was training people, teaching people, she'd say, we really want you to come out to church. Do you own a tie? And if they said no, what would she do? My dad has this tie, he wants you to have it. Let me show you how to tie it. Okay? So kind of a cool little thing to do. So again, depending upon where you're headed to, you may want to have some of your dad's ties that are signed. Isn't that kind of cool? If you have younger siblings, brothers especially, have them sign some ties for you. Okay? So again, we can take as many as we want. You can rewear them if you want. Where you're headed to, you're going to sweat a lot. Okay? So ties are going to wear out up around the neck area. And so having ties that can rest for a day or two to dry out are a good thing. Okay? And satin ties aren't going to do as good for you. And that, for any missionary, satin ties don't do real good because if you drip water on them, they have a stain on them. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and roll the pants in like this. And I roll this way, having the tie there, then I'm going to roll back this other way. This all lays into place. This is my first time to ever do this. So. Now look here. As I bring this all over, I did some white shirts that are my size, so they're extra wide. Okay? But look how they just roll down into place, so I get minimal wrinkling. Now when I come back and roll back this way, this is the natural wrinkle point that tucks into your pants. So see how I stay away from wrinkles? Now this can roll in, and then this last section here just rolls right around the bundle. Would you have ever dreamed we could do 7 shirts and 3 pairs of pants in a carry-on? So there we go. Now, let's talk about packing cubes, all right? Or better yet, do you have a dresser drawer in your house? Guess what? You may not have one in the mission field. You may have 4 guys in an apartment together. You might have 6 guys. We don't know, okay? So we need to know how to do our dresser drawers. So these are our dresser drawers. These are designed so they can hang up in the closet on a closet rod. They can hang up on a rope, on a tree, whatever you need, all right? These become your dresser drawers. You're going to take 4 of these normally on your mission, okay? Right here I have it written down for you. So once again, you see how the handout works for you. So packing cubes, the first one's for what? Your undergarments, okay? So, have you learned how to fold undergarments yet? All right, let's do that. So the way we fold an undergarment is we take the top and lay it down, lay the bottom on top of the t-shirt, fold the t-shirt in half, fold the arm over on it, and roll it up. And it's now like a burrito. Now when it's up in your closet and you're going to go shower, all you do is unzip here, and there is your bundle to go in and shower. Doesn't that make it easy? So on P-Date, that's what you do. It's double-sided, so you don't have to dig through a great big deep thing, okay? This will hold up to 14 garments. So if I had 14 mesh garments, it holds 14 of mine, okay? So one is for garments. Now, your next one, again, I'm explaining how these are going to work in the mission field, so it's not just for this. Now, we have two other suitcases over here. We have a large suitcase and a medium-sized suitcase. The large suitcase, we don't touch till we're in our apartment in the mission field, okay? The next one down is if I might need something. And we're going to talk about that with homework for mom, okay, in just a moment.
Well, he was on our latest pack list, was he's only on one.
Suitcase. Okay, so if we're going to do one suitcase, what are we going to do? We're going to take a carry-on and then one big suitcase.
150-pound bag and a carry-on.
Yep, okay, very good. And then his shoulder bag.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're going to end up with. Other missionaries are allowed 3, okay? So you're going to pack everything that you aren't going to use in the mission home, or if you were in the MTC, if they call you up and say, hey, you can go to the MTC now, you're going to live out of the bag just like this, okay? So we're going to end up taking 4 of these. One's for our undergarments. Number 2, for our socks, okay? So we have socks right here. Again, we're going to use 3-season socks where you're going. If you're using a sock that's warranted for life, so Darn Tough out of Vermont has done great with socks for us, okay? They're warranted for life. You buy them from us, we warranty them after his mission. If there's a hole, you bring it in, you get the credit for whatever you paid for it towards whatever new pair he wants. So that works out really, really good. So you normally only need 9 to 10 pairs of socks to go on your mission if you have some really good technology, okay? You can wear them up to 30 days and they're not stinky. Don't tell them. It's not copper or silver, it's actually merino wool. And they use it in conjunction with the amount of nylon they need, and then they use lycra. So the elastic has no elastics, you don't have elastic breaking down. The stuff that's infused, we don't know how long those infusions last. And so this technology, this company is extremely old now. It's 3rd generation. And the technology they've come up with, merino wool is a natural wicker for keeping you warm. If it's thicker, if it's thinner, it wicks the moisture away to keep your feet drier so you stay cooler, okay? So I'll use one of these for my socks, okay? Then I'll use one for my workout clothes and my PJs. Workout clothes on one side, PJs on the other. Then my last one I'll normally use for my bedding, okay? Oh, right here. So bedding and my baptismal clothes. So my bedding, we're going to go through bedding here in a few minutes, but up here on the wall, that is called a bunk sack. It's the size of a twin-size sheet. It's got a piece on the edge of it that allows you to pull it over the mattress. There's no such thing as twin-size beds outside the U.S. Everybody has a different measurement of beds, okay? So that one is almost 8 feet long. So you hook it around the mattress, pull it down, slide it underneath the mattress, your bed's made. You slide in it, and the reason why we want it to be like a sleeping bag is so your legs aren't sticking out. So again, as I go through bug protection with you, bugs are attracted to the carbon dioxide your body puts out. That's where mosquitoes get the desire to come bite you. Where's your thinnest layers of skin? Ankles and calves, wrists, neck. And so we want to keep you protected even at night when you're sleeping. So you may have that. If you got to have a mosquito net, I just soon own my own mosquito net if I'm going to be out for 2 years that I know is not holy too much, okay? And so we'll do that. You might need a pillow, okay? If you love pillows, you might want to take your own pillow. This pillow here, pretty good size, works good, is this size, okay? And so, again, I'm looking for technology to help you depending on where you're headed to, okay? So, in your other one, you'd have all your bedding in one side. The other side, we put in a pair of white pants, okay, a white tie, and your white socks. Now, as you hit the mission field, your bedding would be on your bed. So when it's time to go do a baptism, on this other side, we put in a white shirt we'd roll it up with the color very last, put it in here, pair of garments already rolled up, and then we do one of our microfiber towels for a baptismal towel. Now, this becomes our baptismal case. After we do a baptism, all of our wet stuff goes in here, dry stuff's on us, and we walk back with it. So we're doubling up how we use this case, okay? For leaving to go to the mission field or to the MTC, we're gonna take our bedding and our baptismal clothes and put it in the great big suitcase. Because we're not gonna use it, are we, till we hit the mission field. Now we have an empty one. So now this empty one is gonna have a week's worth of garments in it, pair of pajamas, pair of workout clothes. Maybe we only need 3 or 4 or 5 pairs of socks. We need a workout pair of socks, maybe a P-Day pair of socks, and then maybe only 3 pairs of socks total, which one of them I'm wearing. So I might only have to take 4 pairs of socks if I'm using better technology. It all goes in here, and that's all I need at the mission home or at the MTC. Does that make sense? Okay, so here we are. So I had to walk through all the different bags so you understood which ones are used where. How many pairs of shoes do we need to go out with?
2, no, it's 4.
All right, to the mission home or the MTC, what would we need? We really don't need another pair of dress shoes or crossline shoes because we're wearing them, right? So all I need in here is a pair of athletic shoes and a pair of shower shoes. That's all, okay? So let's just take 2 pairs. So we always make sure that we have our shoes in shoe bags, okay? Nothing's worse to take a pair of shoes that have been worn and put up against our white shirts and in our pretty suitcase. So we always use shoe bags. So there we put in our 2 pairs of shoes. All right, we're getting there, aren't we? We're doing all right. Now, next up, how many laundry bags do you need in the mission field? Let's try 2, okay? So again, up here on the wall, those first ones you're gonna see are zippered mesh ones, all right? Those are really good. You put them in your bathroom, and that's where your garments go. That way they're never being put on the ground. All right, I learned this many years ago, especially with my son on his mission. It's like, Dad, what do I do? I keep falling on the ground. There's an easy way to go, all right? I like the zippered one, so in case you have a washing machine, you may not have a dryer, but you might end up with a washing machine. You can wash your garments in it right with your companions. And yours are already sorted out, okay? Next up, do you see this black laundry bag here? So there's the white one and the black one, okay? They both have hang-up systems in them. Everything's got to be hanging up because of bugs, okay? So the white one works okay if you were inside the States, but the black one I really like, and the black one's actually become more popular even inside the States. So you see the mesh sides, so your clothing you put into it, pants, shirts, socks, all that kind of stuff, that's your laundry bag you go do your laundry with. It hangs up in your closet, has a place to put a hanger in it, okay? The big plus with that one is, if you look down below, it actually has a little hook system on it that makes it a carry strap. So a single shoulder strap carry, okay? So if you have to go somewhere to wash your clothes, you have that to be able to use. But the big plus with this now is as you use it, it can now be used as your grocery bag on P-Day after you've washed all your clothing. Because around the world, they're getting rid of plastic everywhere, aren't they? And so that's why it's become popular everywhere, is because that's your laundry bag, and then it becomes your grocery bag, and then it becomes your laundry bag again, okay? So 2 laundry bags is what we go to. We only have to take 1 to the mission home or the MTC with us, okay? So we're just gonna put 1 of those in. So here I have one that's a mesh one. I'm gonna just put this one in right now, okay? Because we might only be there for 2 or 3 days, and we'll have our clothes in it, in there, okay? Next up is towels. How many towels do we take on our mission? 6. He's good. Mom's looking at me and saying 6.
No.
Right, let's talk about towels, okay?
The microfiber one.
So microfiber, so we take 2 large towels. 1 towel you use for your bath towel, the other could be your baptismal towel. In your case, it might be a picnic throw. You keep it in your day bag, in your shoulder bag, and when you're teaching certain people and you gotta sit down somewhere, you can actually set it out and sit down on it to be able to teach a lesson, okay? Next up are 2 hand towels. One for the bathroom, one for the kitchen. Mom's not with you, you gotta have some hand towels. We're not using paper towels, okay? Then we're gonna have 2 washcloths, but those aren't really the only washcloths. One's a washcloth, the other's called a sweat cloth. Trust me, you're gonna use that every day. You may want a whole bunch of those, okay? But look at this. That is 6 towels. That takes up very little room, okay? That's why we have to do that, okay? They're antimicrobial, they wick dry extremely fast, and they're your dryers in the mission field. Let me show you how that works, okay? So let me grab a towel here. So this towel, look how small that is. And that's this great big towel. Now this can also be a blanket for you, okay? So if you did have a cold, rainy season, that acts as an extra blanket for you. Now, if I'm doing, let's say I'm trying to dry my garments, okay? I can wash them, wring them out, and then put them in here and wring it again. It'll take up to 50% more moisture out of them. So I dry them twice as fast. Do the same thing with my socks, so they can dry. So depending, during the rainy season when it's really humid, it's really hard to get your clothes to dry, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and put this in. We're gonna take that with us. Again, you could put the one in that's gonna be your sweat cloth if you wanted to. If you use washcloth all the time, that can go in there, okay? Can you believe we fit all this inside this little case? That works pretty good. Now you see why I have to do this part of it for you? This is hard to do over the phone, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I can't, I wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so now we need to have our toiletry bag. Once again, our toiletry bag needs to hang up, okay? I need you to start practicing out of this tonight. I need you to be able to live out of this for a minimum of 2 weeks. That way you know what you need to do. So hang it up in your bathroom. Then I want you to have a Post-it note and write down, oh, I use Q-tips. I need to have this many Q-tips, all right? We gotta start knowing what it is we need to take. So this can go in and out of the shower with us every morning, okay? If we take our great big shampoo bottle in the shower and leave it in there, who's gonna be using it? Everybody that's there with you, right? Whereas if you just refill these every week, you know you're set to go, okay? We're gonna talk more about shampoos and stuff as we talk about bugs, because that's gonna be really important. How many toothbrushes are you gonna take with you when you're traveling? 2, very good. Nothing's worse to drop your toothbrush and you're supposed to be going out to be teaching a bunch of people. So it's always nice. So I do these microband ones that are foldable, fold inside themselves. They're self-disinfecting. And I keep one in my shave kit and I keep one in my shoulder bag. And that way I keep toothpaste available to me, so if I eat somewhere and I'm gonna go teach somebody and it was a bunch of onions I was eating, I can brush on the go, okay? So just some little tricks to help you out. And again, we have more videos all the time. We're producing more videos all the time, okay? So this can go right in here for me. And I've got everything ready to go. Now, as I'm going through TSA, people are always saying, well, I gotta put everything in a plastic bag. No, in a see-through bag. But if you're using the right size bottles, they don't even need you to have you take this out, okay? If you have to take it out, it's all see-through. You saw it was all mesh, so it's all see-through, so they can see what it is. And if you use all the right size bottles, you have no problems, okay? So there we are. We have everything ready to go in our carry-on. Now, we need to be able to haul the carry-on, our big suitcase, in your case. We can use 3 suitcases in some missions only allowed 2, okay? Now, do you know how to wear a shoulder bag?
I think so.
Okay, good. You're gonna test it on the videos for us, okay, here? So let's try this out. So, in our shoulder bag, we're gonna have in here, of course, our water bottle, okay? This one's extremely waterproof. So when they asked me to build a shoulder bag for them, the church did, they said we need it extremely waterproof. And so guys don't like to put a flap over their bag. They're just gonna be in the rain. So you'll notice we did heavy waterproofing underneath here. Now in here, we have our pamphlet. We have our 3 business cards. Oh, you got business cards in the mission field. Well, what we're gonna do, we're gonna show that to you in our class. We teach you about those things, okay? You're going to have your scriptures. Now, you know what scriptures to buy? We're going to teach you in the class what scriptures you're supposed to be taking on your mission. There's specific scriptures you should be taking. You need to understand why, okay? Then we have our giveaway Book of Mormons, okay? All of our business equipment stuff here. This one here happens to have a waterproof zipper right here that we can get into to get our giveaway Book of Mormon right here, so we don't have to undo the flap. But the flap keeps it extremely waterproof. Now, let's go ahead, let's see how to wear a shoulder bag the proper way. So go ahead, show us how to wear it here. So that is the proper way to wear it. You can't wear it on the other shoulder. You know why? You got a name tag right here over your heart. That makes sense, doesn't it? So he's wearing it the right way. Now that's going to get a little bit heavy, isn't it? And that's an empty water bottle on that one. So let's go ahead, let's take the waist strap system.
This?
Yep, put it around your back and bring it up to your hips.
I was just asking my other son about his shoulder bag.
Okay.
He's like, I never used it, they were so uncomfortable.
Yeah, so now he's going to tighten this up. Go ahead and tighten it on up. Now watch this. This is another patented feature I put on it. You take that. How much weight is on you?
Very low.
Okay, put it behind you like it's a hip pack. That's pretty lightweight, isn't it? Okay, so it outdoes a backpack. So backpacks are extremely dangerous if you're riding a bike.
I was say, why are they saying no backpacks?
Well, so one of the, they don't want them to look like a student, number one.
Okay.
They want them to look like messengers of God, all right? But when you go to ride a bike, if you've got a backpack here and you're riding a bike and you got to slam on your brakes, what does the backpack do to your head? Throws you down, can break a nose, injure shoulders, stuff like that. Now you notice with the proper technology, so a lot of people are saying go buy a shoulder bag, but they don't know what the technology is. My background's engineering and design, and so that's why they came to me and said, okay, let's build the right one for our missionary. So we have a selection of them. You're happy to see the best one that I built there that really takes the weight off. So now, when you go to leave, you're going to take that, you're going to have your carry-on, and you're going to have your big suitcase. So what I normally do when I piggyback, have you ever piggybacked before? So if we were doing 3 suitcases, we would actually take the smaller suitcase, connect it to this front bag, and we don't let that bag touch the ground. So, like this is the way you do it. You don't take the biggest bag. If you've ever been in an airport and watched people with the biggest bag, they try to hook this on there and it's always tipping over, right? This way it doesn't tip over. It has a natural leverage to it to work from. So that's the proper way to piggyback. Now for you, you can go ahead. I like to push my smaller bag and pull my bigger bag. The reason why is I'm trying to get through the crowds, and so the small one lets me get through. If I drag both of them behind me, how wide am I in crowds?
You're the one everybody's annoying at.
So let's go ahead and try that. Now look, you've got your shoulder bag on, you got that. So how many luggage tags do you need to have? 2? 2?
Maybe 3.
3, because you need one on your shoulder bag. If you had another bag, you'd be taking 4. So you want to have this tagged, because if you're at church and you're helping somebody out to their car, and somebody sees this all by itself and they take it and put it in the bishop's office, that's your livelihood, all right? So they got to know whose it is. What address do we put on our luggage tags?
Mission home.
Mission home. Not home, because you don't want to be sent back home, right? Okay, very good. So go ahead and take off the shoulder bag now. It makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead, we're going to unpack now. So whether we're at the mission home, over with some other elders, whether we're at the MTC, packing and unpacking always takes forever, it seems like. What I want you to be able to do when you unpack, your toiletry bag will come out, and again it hangs up. So we're able to always have a hang up. I've got my own mirror in there also. Now, my towel has a hang up. Everything's plastic buttoned, so nothing's rusting on me. this hangs up. So no matter where I'm traveling to, it always hangs up. This, again, hangs up. Shoe bags are the only thing that don't have a hang up on them, because we're gonna take our shoes out, put them on the ground anyway, usually, okay? Then the rest of this comes out in a bundle. Mom, when did you ever unpack in one great big bundle? And watch how long it takes me to unpack. Now you can see why we can teach people to get out of the country really quick. These can be hung up on each of the hangers. These, I can take some extra hangers, or I can hang them up underneath with each of the shirts. And then here's all my shirts. How's that? Makes it pretty easy, doesn't it? Okay, we doing okay? All right, let's talk about some homework for mom, shall we? Okay, mom, right back here is dad's and mom's homework assignments. Number 1, power of attorney. If you go to our website, once again under handouts, we have an area that's for the power of attorney. You cut and paste it onto your Word document, put in his name information, yours, your husband's information, and then just go to the bank and have it notarized. It's ready to go. They thought my son had a brain tumor in the mission field and they wanted to do brain surgery on him. I had to use the power of attorney to get the MRI sent to me so I could have them reviewed by doctors. It ended up they misread the MRIs. And so, big deal, okay? Next up is a wellness kit, all right? Again, we want a 2-week wellness kit. What that might be is, right now we have lots of allergies, right? So we may want allergy pills. He doesn't need 2 years worth. Once you've taken care of him for those few weeks, he knows what to go buy. On our website, again, underneath the handouts, shows wellness kit, and a mother who's a physician donated us a 4-page wellness kit. On there she says, honey, talking to her son, if you have an upset stomach, this is what you would use if you were in the U.S. But outside the U.S., this is the chemical you're looking for. Okay? So again, that's under your homework. And then of course, a decent first aid kit you need to have. So we have those here. You can make up your own any way you need to go. Now there's dad's homework, okay? Have you learned how to consecrate oil? Okay, you need to be able to do that. If you were a sister, I want you to know how to consecrate oil. Hold it, sisters can't consecrate oil, can they? But if they're trying to teach somebody who's a new member of the church that has the Melchizedek priesthood, they need to know how to do that. Next up, line of authority. Your priesthood line of authority. Do sisters have priesthood lines of authority?
Their dads.
Their dads. What's your mom's priesthood line of authority? Through her husband, who she's still in the temple with. That makes sense, right? So everybody gets a priesthood line of authority. All right? I grew up in a family that my dad was never a member, okay? So I didn't have a priesthood line of authority. If a sister's the same way, her parents aren't married in the temple, her dad doesn't have the authority, or they're divorced, or doesn't have a dad, it would go through whoever sets her apart as a missionary. That would be her line of authority. Okay? So that's important for you to understand as you're teaching other missionaries, so they understand that. Okay? But you need to take yours with you. I wrote here, teach sisters to tie a tie. I did that so I didn't make the elders feel bad getting rid of their zip-up ties. Okay? All right. And then, of course, ties signed to give away out in the mission field if you want to. It's not a requirement, but it's an option for you to look at. Okay? So those are our homework assignments right there. All right, now, let's talk about organizing bags. All right? An organizing bag is a fancy Ziploc baggie. So what you do is you take a Ziploc baggie, a gallon-sized one, and start filling that up with all your loose stuff you're going to have. Journal-type stuff, letter writing stuff, music player and speakers, shoe shine stuff, pens, pencils. If you take a camera, if you take a phone, you need to have all that gear there. Electrical items that you might be taking. Again, first aid kit if you make it from home. Any items that would be loose inside your luggage you need to have. You put it in a Ziploc baggie. Now that Ziploc baggie is going to last about a week, right? But the reason why I have you do that is then you know how many organizing bags you need to have. So these get sold in packs of 3. And they're just like a fancy Ziploc baggie, but once again, they'll hang up in the closet, hang up wherever you need them to go. So that makes it real easy. Okay. All right, next up, let's go through some tips for getting prepared to go on your mission, last minute type stuff. When do you leave?
July 1st.
Okay, awesome. So you have a good chance that you may end up in an MTC, depending on what happens, okay? So we're waiting to see what happens. Is this your first missionary? Second, okay. On your first missionary, did you have somebody at the setting apart to take notes?
No.
But you remember all the advice that was given and how beautiful the blessing was? Okay. But wouldn't it be cool to write down all those notes? So have siblings do it or grandparents do it, not the parents or the missionary. Okay? So I just put that down as a note for you there. Okay, marking your clothing. You can use a permanent marker. If you do, when you use it, use half part vinegar and half part water, mark it down, and then paint that on there, and it sets it. All right? You can go online, and there's different companies that have ones you can buy that are pre-made, that are iron-on with your name on it. You guys have some time, so you could do that, okay? At the farewell, it's kind of fun having everybody maybe sign the laundry bag, all right? Anymore, the farewells have changed, but you're gonna have friends and family coming over for quite some time from here on out. Wouldn't it be cool to have them sign it? So if you're doing the black laundry bag, you might do silver markers to have everybody sign their name and a little something to you. If you're using the other one, you can see one up there that we had signed with a bunch of different things. And then you put it through a half a cup of vinegar and a cold water wash, and it sets it. So just something kind of fun, all right? At your setting apart, after you're set apart, the first blessing you're gonna give is to your mother, then to your father, and then to all your siblings. And now, the way we do blessings there, you know, I'm not always supposed to say about the spiritual type of stuff. They have certain things they do. But remember, at the setting apart, or whenever you give a blessing, you usually use the Melchizedek priesthood, right? But remember to add, as you're doing that first blessing to your mom, and in the mission field as you're blessing people, as an ordained minister of Jesus Christ. You're an ordained minister. Was it beautiful at conference to get apostolic blessing over the pulpit from the prophet? You, as an ordained minister of Jesus Christ, can give those blessings every single home you're in. So not just once a day, all the time. And let's say you were quarantined to your apartment. You can do it electronically. You can do it over the phone. Beautiful stuff, okay? So take advantage to your family then, okay? You need to set up the credit card to the company he's headed to. Your local bank's really good to work with you right now, but as soon as he's in a foreign country, they don't work good.
They charge you a lot.
That's why you have to have that power of attorney, and then if he ends up going to an MTC and then going to the mission field, you've got a couple different phone calls to do as he's going through all these things, okay? How good are you at family search?
Not the best.
Okay, that's a really important item for you as you head on your mission, okay? So you've got some homework assignment to do here, all right? What I need you to do under family search is, number one, you gotta know how to get on it and have be logged in, okay? Once you've done that, I need you to know how to add memories. So go to your oldest living relatives, have them handwrite a story about their parents, have them type up the story about their parents, and have them get a picture of their parents. You now take it with your phone and then upload it under memories. Now as you're in the mission field, you can have family history moments in the chapel, in community centers, where you can have a weekly get together where people can learn how to do family history. Think about it. You could have your stuff up there on the wall and say, look, here's my grandparents, and look, they hand wrote this story about their parents. Now I have their handwriting forever. Isn't that cool? Now you need to know how to shut off your LDS version of the temple version of family search under the settings. Because if you're teaching people in the community, you don't want the temple portion on there. Then you need to know how to set up people to be able to have their own account, even if they're not members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So those are some of your homework assignments. Mom's heard it, so she's going to help you out with it. We'll have it on our website to keep reminding you too. Okay?
His temple prep teachers are also family
History consultants.
So maybe they could do one lesson on that.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic to ask them to do that. Okay? And as you go through our Preach My Gospel class, you can take down notes to pass on to them of other things to train them from Preach My Gospel. Because we hit all 13 chapters in 2 hours. So it's intense. That's why we let parents there. At the MTC, you're supposed to get up at 6:30 in the morning. I normally like you up between 5:30 and 6. Even, you know why that is? When you're in a dormitory and everybody gets up at 6:30, what happens with the lines in the bathroom
They get long.
and in the shower?
They get long.
What happens with hot water?
It's all gone.
That's right. If you do it at 5:30 or 5:45, you can take all the time you want and you can take a power nap. Okay, so it's just some fun little tips, okay? So again, you can see your handout has a lot of different areas for you to be protected with. Let's talk security now, okay? So security. What we have here, if I have my security piece, let me go get the security piece. Now we'll talk security. So they told you to have something for your passport that slides around your belt, right? And goes in. So this could be used that way. The problem is passports nowadays are rigid. So to have it down here and sit with it is pretty uncomfortable. Then, depending on where you are in the world, you have to keep your passport with you all the time. Or you have to have a proselyting card that goes with you all the time. If we keep it in our day bag and forbid we get robbed, that disappears. So inside here, I want to have, once you're in the field, if you gotta have your passport stays in here, okay? My credit card from home, and all my cash, except for my daily allotment of cash, goes in my day bag. Now this one here can be put on the belt, or I can wear it underneath a t-shirt or a work shirt when I'm out doing service, and it's pretty comfortable this way. If I have my gym shorts on, I want to take it around, I can go ahead and put it like this and tighten it right up. Okay? So there's a number of different ways I can wear this one to keep it comfortable. So this has RFID protection, which is radio frequency identification, which is in all credit cards and in all passports now. Okay? So that's the way we take care of security. All right. Let's do bug protection. Are we doing okay? Okay. Okay. Bug protection. We want to pre-treat our clothing before we go. So let me give you a little history on this. So I had the problem with my sister getting sick in the mission field. I've had a number of missionaries get sick. And so I attacked bugs, and the way I did it is I met with a number of different major military groups. The last one being the U.S. military. They actually deauthorized for me an entire packet that I have here of how they treat the clothing to protect missionaries. They also trained us on how they treat the skin. It's 2 different treatment processes, and we're going to walk you through those today. So pre-treating before you go on your mission is your number 1 way to go. Well, the problem is the U.S. military only treats the clothing for 12 months. Well, in the declassification I got, they showed me back at West Point, the average West Point cadet was getting 10% of them were getting Lyme disease from ticks. So we're not even talking mosquitoes yet, okay? This was in 1977. They started to treat their uniforms. After that time period, they've had 0 cases. Okay? Well, we had to take ours up to work for 24 months for our troops. So we actually met with Davis County Mosquito Abatement and Salt Lake Mosquito Abatement. We worked with a major chemical company that built permethrin. We got EPA certifications to do something that was 20 times stronger than anything else that's available in the US. And then we were able to do international training. So what they did is they actually caught mosquitoes for us out of the Great Salt Lake, raised them for us down Salt Lake, and they did the testing for us. A guy that's been 40 years in mosquito abatement. We have pictures of it over here, that we took Petri dishes, we took the cloth, we treated the clothing, we then would wash it. We did it in 5 washing increments up to 110 washings. And then we did what was called a knockdown test to see how many mosquitoes would be knocked down from your clothing. We'd leave it in there for 2 minutes, pull it out, watch the mosquitoes for 60 minutes, and watch the results. Boring test, huh? But we found that we can keep our troops, our missionaries, protected up to 70% at 110 washings. Now the EPA says clothing is wore out after 70 washings, and they did that because of a dryer lint test. So we went ahead, because our guys are hand washing, we hand washed all of ours to do our test to come up with the answers. So these are the international instructions. So if you're going internationally, this is how we would train you to do it. You pre-wash and dry with unscented detergent your clothing. You then use international instructions on doing the permethrin. So the permethrin you'll buy will be like this. It goes the duration of your time. You'll end up with one of these bottles. You then will do a mix according to what we have here. You can hang up your clothing in your garage. You spray it till it's damp, let it dry, and it's all done. It's that easy. Remember to do all your mission clothing, your socks, your exercise clothes, your P-Day clothes, your service clothes, your pajamas, your bedding, your luggage, your messenger bag. If you had a suit, we'd tell you to flip it inside out and do your suit. If you were a traveler, we'd have you do the same type of thing, just with all the traveling type clothing you're doing. That's all you have to do. It's that easy, okay? Out in the mission field, we just want to go ahead and use all natural detergent when we're washing our clothes. Here I wrote, do not use MTC dryers, but before it I said, use low heat. Mom knows all the stories about that, all right? If we use high heat all the time, we're going to wipe out anything we're drying, so that's no matter what the clothing is, but we have to do that for the elders so they know what we do, okay? Now, if you wanted, we do treat clothing here. I use the same procedure here. I have a clothing area up top. We have a cost to it. We're happy to do it for you if that helps relieve stress, okay? So we are here for that. So, bug protection with clothing. Now, there's 4 steps to good bug protection. Now we gotta go through all those. Let's get some stuff out here on the table to help us out. See what we can come up with for you. Well, and that's why I'm giving you handouts, to make it easy, to help us remember. Okay, so the 4 steps to good protection as we're going on our mission. Number 1, pre-treating our clothing. We already know that. We're using the permethrin to pre-treat our clothing, okay? This is 10% permethrin. I'm gonna show you some other permethrin in just a moment. Next up, dry weather protection. Now, you'll get on a call oftentimes that you're supposed to be using DEET. I'm not a big fan of DEET. The World Health Organization and the CDC, Center for Disease Control, all came out a couple years ago and said that picaridin and a natural product that has citronella in it, tea tree and eucalyptus, is as effective as DEET, but safer to the body. So DEET we can't use on our face. So I'm kind of a guy that says, okay, I'm going to skip DEET. I have DEET here. They tell you to use a certain percentage of DEET. The thing is if you're sweating and you put DEET on and it's right at that percentage, what happens with that DEET? It gets watered down. So let's look at picaridin. So this picaridin is good for up to 14 hours. That's real mosquito repellent. Yes. Okay, so the way we do it is we use lotion in the morning, okay? The way you've ever been trained on how to put on mosquito repellent. Here's how we do it. So the reason why we use lotion, if we always use a liquid, it always has an alcohol base and dries out our skin, starts bothering us. His season of where he's at makes a big difference. So we have a bug map over there on the wall, and on the bug map, we go by the number, the longitude, the latitude, excuse me, longitude this way, right? Latitude this way. Latitude from equator up. And so one of your handouts here is missionary repellent calculation. All right? So when we go over that map, we're going to see that you're between probably the equator and 30 degrees. All right? So how long is your bug season? 6 to 9 months. So parents are always asking, how much do I need? And so that's what we're going to do, because some countries can't ship things to. All right? So what we're going to do is the way you use this is you're going to take about the size of your fingernail, pour it on your hand, that much, rub it together, thin layers of skin first, then thick layers of skin. That's all you need a day, that much. Boy, that's a lot less than I thought I'd need, wasn't it? And so
You
if
do arms and legs?
well, your legs, you're going to have pants on. We've pre-treated our clothing. All right? If we are going out with gym shorts on, then yes, we would treat our legs. If it was a sister missionary, and she's going to wear a skirt. Now, we got sisters so they could wear pants. All right? You use 3 times as much, because every leg is about the size of the arm and the head, neck, and face, okay? And so in here, if you look here, right here, it's going to state for you, lotion, elders usually use 9 to 12 ounces for 2 years.
Really?
That's only 3 of these.
Wow.
Doesn't that help you out a lot?
Yeah.
That calms the nerves.
I'm thinking those giant
I know.
vino. But yeah.
Okay, now, right here, during the day, if swarming occurs, what should I do? Well, swarming occurs, we're going to use a spray. Why don't we use the lotion? Because we have sweat all over our skin. The lotion's not going to go on very good, is it? So when swarming occurs is the terminology I use.
You mean the bugs swarming?
The bugs
or-
start, you know how when they start coming around you a little bit more, it's like, okay, they're swarming around me. I need to do something else. So then we use a liquid. Liquid doesn't go quite as long because it's getting mixed with sweat, okay? But it's made so it has the same protection.
So did you keep that in your bag?
That's in your day bag, very good. So that goes in your day bag, and the way you put on liquid is at perfume points is the way I usually teach you, okay? You know, on off commercials, they're always going everywhere. It's not the way we use mosquito repellent. We go here, 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 and rub it all in. That's all you need to use. So how far is that going to go? Well, if we look over here again, it says, well, we're going to use 6 to 9 ounces. That's 3 of these. Isn't this making it a lot easier now? It breaks it down and makes you, okay, I can get this. This works good. Next up, bed bug safety. All right? We go and sleep on a mattress that has bed bugs, we're going to have problems, aren't we? Now, all the sheets we sell are already pre-treated against bed bugs using permethrin, okay? So does our pillowcases. But in this case, as you move in your apartment, you're going to use your permethrin again, but this time we're going to use a white bottle. In this white bottle, this is 0.5%. That other bottle was 10%. So this is 1/20th of the strength. This is what you'd buy at Cabela's, or you'd buy at any of your local stores. They don't have that stuff that's 20 times stronger, okay? So what you do is just take one of these on your mission, mist it on your mattress, let it dry for 30 minutes, you've killed all the bed bugs. That's pretty easy. So there's bed bug safety. Are we breaking it down? You're seeing how easy it is, right? Okay. Now, back here, we're going to talk about rainy season. During the storms, when stormy season comes in, it rains every 3 or 4 hours. I don't want to use 14-hour stuff when it's raining. So what we want to use is we're going to use something that has citronella, eucalyptus, and good old tea tree oil. We know how effective tea tree oil is, right? So tea tree oil, the problem is the CDC and the WHO said this works as good as DEET, but it only lasts 3 to 5 hours on the body. So, wouldn't that be nice to carry that inside your bag? Spray at the perfume points again, rub it in between storms if the bugs are bugging you, and you're protected for 3 to 5 hours. You're not too worried. Now, I usually send missionaries out with a full 8-ounce one like this. And there's a reason. This refills this, but there's some other reasons behind tea tree. So now let's talk tea tree for a second, shall we? So remove this away. Very good. So Mom was already familiar how good tea tree does for you.
Bugs away.
Very good. So this actually is made with ethanol alcohol of 62%. So it is a hand sanitizer and a mosquito repellent. So you can use this today as your hand sanitizer. One of the things we were running into is missionaries would hand sanitize or wash their hands, and then they'd end up with mosquito bites between their knuckles and stuff. This gives us that mosquito repellency. So it's a great hand sanitizer. We already know it's a great insect repellent. Next up, if we use it as our deodorant, it helps keep bugs away. If we use our pretty smelling stuff, we're saying, hey bugs, come see me. So
Is this not an antiperspirant, it's
just straight deodorant. We don't do an antiperspirant because it can affect people. Some people have gland issues and stuff with antiperspirant. So deodorant's a very safe way to go. Again, you guys have enough time. A lot of these things, I would give you homework to start trying some of this stuff out. Okay? Next up, it's a great antiseptic for minor cuts, scrapes, boosts wound healing, okay? Helps fight acne. So one of the things I have elders run into is they start getting boils underneath their skin in the mission field because they're using tainted water to shower with. So you would use this to help clear up your skin. Sisters end up with boils underneath their arms for shaving their arms. That's why we use a tea tree deodorant. It helps fight that. Helps get rid of nail funguses and treats athlete's foot. So again, the same tool. This is probably what I like the best. It helps control dandruff, but helps get rid of lice. So if by chance you ended up with lice, you'd spray this in your scalp before you went to bed, scrub it in. Then when you get up in the morning, use your tea tree shampoo. So this is shampoo, body wash, shave cream, and can wash your clothing all in one. If you don't have a washing machine, you could walk in your shower with your garments on, wring them out, dry them out with your towel, worked out great.
Is it preventative for lice, or is it treat?
It's preventative also, so you can do it both ways. Yes. So there's your tea tree concept, okay? In here we give you usage amounts. So, this is the equivalent of about 24 ounces of shampoo or body wash.
Is that a liquid? What is
No, this is a bar soap.
Oh, bar, okay.
So that's a bar soap, okay? So, in your case, this could become your favorite way to shower, is put that around like that. And there's your shower holder, because you don't know the kind of showers you're gonna have. Here's a picture of a shower and their toilet in Africa. Okay? All right, so that's mosquito repellency 101. Now, it's time for water, okay? Kind of an important thing in our life, isn't it? So since we've had pandemics happen, earthquakes happen, I like all missionaries to have a water bottle.
I tell you, there's earthquake this morning when I slept through. Yeah.
So,
Did you guys feel it?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So everybody needs to have a water bottle. If you have this, you don't need to run out and buy water because you're always gonna have water, okay? The way this works. So this technology, we have a really fun video on our website that some of my staff was using down at Moab to try it out. They'd never tried it before, and they got it out of a puddle there. And they tried it, and all of a sudden you should see them, they go, wow, this is really good. And so I have it on video, so it's really funny on our website. All right, so this comes from the International Space Station through NASA. So a NASA scientist developed it, and it's used today on the International Space Station. And you know how they get water up there? Recycle the human body.
Oh, lovely.
Okay? That's pretty good then, isn't it? So we've been using this for probably 12 to 15 years now. We have great success with it. Oftentimes you'll see people that will try to use water bottles that are suck-up water bottle systems. Distribution Services has had a habit of using some suck-up water bottle systems. That doesn't work really good when you go to wash your hands because you got to suck it up, spit on your hands, wash it. Then how do you rinse them? Suck it up, spit on your hands. It doesn't work really good, does it? All right, so let's talk about the 7 areas that we have to be concerned with water, okay? And this is really important down where you're headed to. Number 1 is showers. If we get it in our mouth, what's going to happen? We're going to get sick. It gets in our gums, okay? Do you wear contacts?
I do.
Okay. Contacts give another complication because you're putting your hands always in your eyes, okay? Brushing your teeth. Once again, we need a system that we're able to just put on our toothbrush, brush our toothbrush, and then dry our toothbrush out. That easy, or rinse it out. So we want to be able to use this every single day. Next up, washing our hands. I like to always carry with me my own soap on the go. Because as I go in to eat at people's homes, if I have tainted water, how long does it take for my hands to get clean? Never gets clean, does it? And so I like to have that in my toiletry bag. So I've been teaching you some different things, or not my toiletry bag, in my day bag. So I've been giving you some things to have in your day bag. Being able to brush your teeth, being able to wash your hands, some mosquito repellency. So see the tools we're giving you? We're building that all up, okay? Next up, ice. We don't know if it's coming from a tainted source, but it can go inside here and we can have cold water. So that works out really good, doesn't it? Fruits and vegetables. Here's your rule. If you can't peel it, you can't cook it, you don't eat it. So I always get missionaries that say, well, I'm going to somebody's house, I gotta eat what they feed me. So once again, under our homework assignments, I have an area that says, start going up on Google Earth, look at the different stores in your area, look at the different recipes, start practicing cooking some breakfast and some dinner items, choose which ones you like and make some small recipes that you can hand out to people. So when people say, hey, do you want to come over to our house and eat? You say, no, you get these items, I'll come cook over there for you. Okay? That keeps you safe. We don't always know the silverware that people have. So I like to always have one of these. Whether I'm a missionary or whether I'm a traveler, I carry one of these. Because plastic silverware is disappearing in the world. Okay? This way, even if I buy something, a pudding or something, I can eat it and have my own silverware. I'm able to rinse it off. Okay? So being able to go cook at people's homes, especially meats and stuff like that. If it's cooked well, we're going to kill anything that's going to hurt us. So we don't want those parasites. Okay? So, example. If you were diabetic and somebody handed you a chocolate cake, what would you say to them?
I'm diabetic, I can't.
I'm a diabetic, it would kill me if I ate something like that. So if they're going to hand you something that you know is going to make your stomach upset, what are you going to say?
I'm allergic to that.
I'm not allergic, it just makes my stomach upset. I can't eat it, it makes my stomach upset. But you see that banana or that mango? I love those don't bother my stomach at all. See what happened? So it's thinking before you go how to keep yourself protected. All right? The number 1 way travelers get sick with water and missionaries is bottled water. People always say, how? Well, what do people do? They take the old bottles, rinse them out, refill them, put new lids on them, new wrappers on them, and sell them to everybody saying, hey, here's good water. But it's not. So you're at somebody's home. In your apartment, let's say that they say you're filtered, okay? Well, we don't know if that filter has been created with a problem, that somebody put it in backwards and that it's contaminated the system. If they have a water system that you take and have the water come through, we don't know if it's been contaminated. And so it's always safe to know what I'm taking care of, okay? So if I'm at somebody's home and they're gonna bring me out some bottled water, all I have to do is undo this, say, do you mind if I put it in my water bottle? It's about empty, and I'll eat it. We don't suck up on a straw, it squeezes into our mouth. That's the filter, so it stays really well hidden. It doesn't look obtrusive like it's some great big long thing down inside there, does it?
Do you have to change the filters on those?
Yes, you do. And we're going to talk about how to do the filters here now. Okay? Now let's say by chance there is a hurricane that comes through or an earthquake and we're not going to have good water. What are some of the steps we can use to keep ourselves protected? Number one is we got to pre-filter it. And so we can use any type of cloth that would let us pre-filter it to get rid of the stuff that's maybe clogging it up. Then we can put it in here and it's going to filter for us. If we put mud in here, how long is the filter going to last? A lot less. So we want to keep it as glorious as we can. So let's go over, number one, how to clean our filter every week. How to wash our different, like our silverware, okay? Let's talk about, you know, at night, maybe I want to wash my face and my hands because I've been using just the water bottle or tainted water to wash my hands and face. So what we would do on P-Day is we would boil our water. Do you know how to boil water? To purify it?
Yeah.
All right, how?
Like just on a stove or like?
Yeah, you put it on a stove, and how long do you boil it for?
It's like 6 minutes.
Okay, so, all right, so we're gonna give you a way to remember that, okay? If the water looks glorious, okay, how many degrees of glory are there in heaven?
3.
3. If it looks glorious, we boil it for 3 minutes rolling boil. That's easy to remember now, isn't it? You're never gonna forget that, okay? So it's right here. It's not from me, it's from the World Health Organization, okay? So we boil it for 3 minutes. So you can see these handouts become great tools for you as you're headed out. Now when we boil the water, we would separate it into 3 separate containers. One container we would use for drinking water if we needed it for drinking water. So like if there was a hurricane or an earthquake or, you know, something like that, okay? Number 2 one is for washing our face and hands at night before we go to bed. So even without a hurricane around, you may end up boiling water and having it every week to wash your hands and face. Before you go to bed, you never stick your hands in it. Your companion pours it over your hands, you wash your hands off. Pours it over your hands, you wash your face, wash your hands, now you're done. One of the big problems we see out in the mission field in third world countries is pink eye. It's because at night we sit there and rub our eye and you get the idea. So that's one of the important steps. Now, the most important step, okay? Washing our water bottle and silverware every week, and our plates or whatever else we have. So the way you do that is in that third container, you'd have one that would be wash water and one that would be rinse water. You notice my rinse water is a lot higher, right? My wash water has soap in it. I stick my silverware right in there and wash it out. Now to rinse it, I never stick it in the rinse water. I pour the rinse water over it to rinse it off. Now it's clean, all right? Now here's the step that Mom was worried about. How do we get this nice and clean? So all week long, I gotta tell you a story. I had a mom call me one time. She goes, my son's only been out for 13 months and his water bottle's all black inside. I said, so is he washing it every week? Oh, he's supposed to wash it? Okay? So, yes, you have tainted water in there. We need to wash it, okay? So what we do is on P-Day, we take that boiling water, we take that rinse water, and we pour it over this filter. What we're doing is we're getting any loose stuff off that filter to give it more life. We never put soap on there because soap will clog it up, okay? So we want to keep it as good as we possibly can. So we pour it over it, we rinse that all off. I normally send missionaries out with 2 water bottles and 1 extra filter. And the reason why I send them out with 2 water bottles is if one ever gets broken, lost, stolen, whatever, they have a second one, okay? Now, once we rinse this filter off, we undo this. And so it has a single gasket right here. We rinse this off. We don't stick it upside down to sit there and let it drain out. Because when we flip it back, we could get tainted water in there. This is our good area. So we set it to the side. Now we can wash this in soap and water. We can rinse it all out. Everything we want. It's dishwasher safe, like you're gonna have a dishwasher. Then it goes back together. And once you put it back together, you tip it upside down. It takes just a second to refill the filter, and then it squeezes right out. You're ready to go again for another week, okay? The reason why we don't have a straw is because we could have dirt and stuff on our lips. So here, if this has dirt on it, all you do is let a little bit out. Now you can squirt it into your mouth. It's all set to go. There's your water safety. Now, let's just talk a couple other things. Let's say, again, we're stuck without being able to get water for a while, good water. So we can purify 2 additional ways. One way is with household bleach. So household bleach, we can use 5 drops for every 2 liters of water. This is just over a half a liter, so I'd use 1 to 2 drops in here. Let it sit for a half hour, shake it up, and I can drink it. So that would be a way to do bacterial type items. This takes care of filtration. It'll take out the poliovirus, the filter will. But we have to do sometimes bacterial protection too, especially in third world countries, because we end up with a lot of sanitation issues, okay? So then, one last way. On fighter pilots, they carry something known as germicidal tablets or iodine tablets. This is enough tablets to do 50 bottles of water. So if we didn't have bleach, this is kind of like your 72-hour kit that mom puts in your wellness kit, okay? You fill this up with water, put 1 tablet in here, let it sit for 30 minutes, shake it up, and now you're protected, okay? That's your water protection.
And that's in the event that you can't boil it?
Can't boil it, right. Because, you know, if you have a hurricane or an earthquake, you might, power's out, you don't have other ways. We're just doing that type of protection for you. So there is water protection.
So on regularly with this water bottle, like if he just filled this up with sink water, it's
Just use
totally
it.
fine. You
Totally
don't have to
fine.
worry about boiling or any of that stuff.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Yep, he's just fine. We've just given you all the steps to be able to clean it. I tried to cover all the different areas. And the reason why it's important to have a parent here is you're gonna help him remember, because we've given you a lot of steps today to go through a lot of different things.
Like, might need extra to send me to.
Yes, you guys are set. Thank you guys. You did awesome. Very, very good.